we're live.
Yay.
It worked. Well, that's one thing working. We'll see how.
Out of how many things?
See how the rest of the cast goes.
You're looking quite cowboy today with that denim shirt.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. I've been serving on the old ranch.
Yeah.
Hey,
No comments on my
K5.
clothes because they're always just fucking.
Oh
same,
yeah.
right? Always come from work. So yeah.
Always. English school approved.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, K5 and Miguel and Matt. Good to
Hey.
see you guys. Nice. All right. So we are, all set. So today we're going to do, I guess we'll do that before we start everything. We're going to choose the winner and we'll do it legitimately. I've got a webcam that I can point at the monitor.
Oh.
So we're going to randomly, live on air, live on live stream, choose the winner for the, and I guess I could actually trim this out too and like upload this segment separately if it goes okay. If it actually chooses the winner.
Just lose it if it doesn't.
Right. So Matt, thank you again for your donation of the prizes for this. This,
fantastic.
Yeah, 2,000 subscriber giveaway. We appreciate it very much. So yeah, let's do that first. So
Sure.
Before we before we get going here. All right. So officially, let me switch this on. This is some serious tech going on here. Boom.
There
All
we go.
right.
Ah, nice.
So these.
Hope people don't get motion sickness.
Yeah, right. Whoa. Okay, so these are our contestants. So we have 9 people that commented on
nice.
the 2,000 subscriber. So Tony L, G Rumbles, Jim Jones, Stephanie Summers, Scurvy Ninja, Nico Devout, RP Gojira 23, Paul Cooper, and Rafael Lopez Vivian. You are all entered for the. So this is a full copy of the basic rules for Twilight 2000
Nice.
and Friend or Foe, the supplement written by Matt and illustrated by myself.
Nice.
So here we go. We're going to see this
You're gonna
webpage
click the
is not
button?
acting great. We are picking one random name, which should appear at the bottom. Bum. And our winner is
Hey, it worked.
Paul Cooper.
Oh, nice.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Paul. So you can contact us either by the Gmail,
Cool.
upturntabletop@gmail.com, or any of our social media with your address so we can send you that link to get
Nice.
your prize. So congratulations, Paul Cooper.
Oh, fantastic.
I
It
hope,
worked.
I hope you're not family or employee of. We didn't specify. All right, but it worked. So-
None of my families nor coworkers listen to this podcast. That's another thing. So I'm safe with that. All right. Or perhaps it is a sock puppet account I made.
Oh yes.
No, it's not. It is not. Sorry.
So we'll put that in a pinned comment on the bottom of that video, and also as a post for the
Nice.
community. So congratulations, Paul.
Awesome.
I thought I was going to have to say one of those crazy names, but it's just Paul Cooper. All right. So so we'll just send you a link, and you can redeem that at DriveThruRPG.
Cool.
Excellent. So how are things going for you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
April.
Nice. Yeah, we've got some. So hopefully we'll make some time in the. We've got 30 days, but play some Chronopia.
Yes.
Yeah, while the Kickstarter's going. So they haven't reached their goal yet.
Okay.
So goal's like, what was it? 45,000, and I think they're at like 20, getting close to 30.
Right.
So I think they're going to get there, but
nice.
they've got some gorgeous stretch goals that I think
Ooh.
are going to be out of reach, like big
Right,
models and
right.
stuff that we may not see. But eventually, once this goes to retail, that stuff might get into production, or they could do like a second Kickstarter
Yeah, they
once
could,
they've built up a fan base.
Or hopefully, the idea. Well, small, kind of smallish designers. Yeah. Okay. Second Kickstarter. Sure, I got no problem with that. Or once the first wave comes out, or the first base set, that funds
Yeah.
more releases. Yeah.
Yeah, because they are terming it as Wave 1, so you can pledge for a Wave 1. So that might make sense to do a Wave 1 Kickstarter, Wave 2 to keep the funding going. Because if they can at least fund every time, then that's a good thing. Oh, and speaking of funding, GameFound is now in beta, so anybody now can put projects up on
Nice.
GameFound. So it's all tabletop. It's tabletop only, which will be nice because then when you're looking at stuff, you're not going to be distracted by
Right.
gizmos and gadgets and people's
Galore,
theater
yeah.
performances and things.
Sorry, it's gadgets and gizmos aplenty. Who's it's and what's it's galore. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Disney nerds.
But So that's going to be some competition because they did pretty decent. This is Awakened Realms is the company that started this. So I think they're based in Poland. So so it's going to be some competition to the American Kickstarter, especially for that juicy tabletop market, the board games and tabletop market.
Don't know how it would work, and I know a lot of the stuff is out of the company's control in terms of because it's the different countries' banking laws.
Oh, right.
But if GameFound could open up doors to places that Kickstarter can't go,
right?
Like the global South, basically, that would, I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool because then people, locked out of Kickstarter for reasons that are beyond their control, would have access to something like this.
No, that's true, and I think that they probably do have better opportunities. I'm curious if once they are a legitimate competitor, if Kickstarter is going to say, yeah, you no longer can use GameFound for your pledge manager, because people have GameFound accounts because they've pledged Awakened Realms projects or whatever. So they already have a little bit of a head start, getting a member base that already has accounts like Kickstarter has. So I wonder if Kickstarter is going to make that step. And just
I thought the whole goal of moving to the blockchain was open and free development, and and all that stuff. It's not. it's not.
No.
Who would have foreseen the NFT bubble bursting?
No way.
And those ugly ass apes are going to retain their value forever.
Yeah. The strangest thing for me, listening to a little bit of the NFT news, is how they're trying to make it's like a buy-in to a community. Like we talked about the Spice DAO that was purchasing the Jodorowsky book. You basically buy a piece of this, or you buy an NFT. You buy something, and usually with their coin, you buy their cryptocurrency, and then with their coin or whatever chain they're running it on, you then are in a community, and then you can vote on things or you can participate in events, and that's how people pitch it. They're like, yeah, spend a lot of money on these really rare things, and then you have that as your avatar in this community, and we're going to do great things. And then oftentimes it's just cut and run, once it builds up enough.
Because it's just a fucking pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. Yeah, the great things we're going to do is run away with your money.
And it's just a bunch of 20-year-olds too. So of course they have no, they have no responsibility, no connection to the, it's just like, you were stupid enough to believe that I care about.
Sorry.
Yeah. So so I was really surprised by that, how they're preying on kind of the social aspects. So that explains why influencers and things are very valuable to them to generate. It's like, get your fans to get in on this because this is a great community that you're endorsing, and we'll cut you in on this. We'll get you all the Electrum you need or whatever the.
I'm waiting for someone to come up with an unobtainium coin.
Yeah, I'm sure every kind of coin has been already minted.
Oh.
So many stupid names. Yes.
I won't take up that long.
Oh, no.
Speaking of that Spice DAO, I watched Dune last weekend. The 2021 one.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. No? Not going for it?
Well,
you are not a fan of...
No, it was... I don't know, man. The way someone pointed it out is there was less character development in a longer movie that was less of the book than the David Lynch one.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And the biggest thing I can't get over, don't tell anyone the Sardaukar helping Harkonnen, except for when they show up in their fucking Sardaukar battle gear and you're Sardaukar. I'm like, what the... How did this get past people, right?
Right.
I was just thinking about it. I was watching it with my partner, and she knows nothing about Dune.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And also, English is not her first language, right? So I was watching with English subtitles just because I got to keep it low. She says she likes that because it's kind of English practice for her. An hour into what felt like a fucking 3-hour movie, she's like, I'm going to go read a book because I have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was kind of curious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a great test, but it was curious if someone who knew nothing about this movie could figure out what was going on. And she was sitting there actually into it, reading, trying to fit. And she's like, I have no idea what's going on. Wow. And I'm like, in your defense, Dune is supposed to be weird, right? That's the appeal. So visually, it was gorgeous. Most of the stuff.
And the sound was good.
See, I missed out on the sound because I have to watch it low because my kids sleep basically on the other side of a tissue paper wall.
Right.
But yeah, I won't go into it more. But
interesting. Yeah. Wow.
No.
Yeah. In the theater, it was pretty stirring. Like I was surprised that some of those scenes, the emotional level of some of the scenes was way beyond.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Stuff,
Yeah.
stuff that I felt in the Lynch movie, like in the tent where he sees the future. He's going to bring war to the galaxy, and then also the Gom Jabbar scene. Those in the theater, and maybe it had a lot to do with the Hans Zimmer kind of like crazy sonic assault. But yeah, it was pretty emotional. I was surprised because that's a very kind of cool movie, and the actors have to do a lot of kind of heavy lifting
Emoting
to get
through their eyes and stuff,
to get stuff across. But
yeah, I guess the one upside or two upsides. Okay, there are more people of color, so great. Not great when they're all people who die. Basically, right?
Yeah.
And like I said on Twitter, like Jemis, right? The guy who Paul has to basically fight. I love how they turned him into angry black man.
Oh yeah,
instead of just like
right.
That didn't work for me.
But did you that character was really powerful for me because did you see?
Oh yeah.
Like in his prevision, he was an ally, and I'm going to show you the way. And this is how I do it. Like like reality of it, how I do it is anger and trying to take your life. And
I like
that was like
how I liked that. I liked how they kind of tried to psych you out with these multiple future visions and stuff. And of course, knowing the story, I'm like, I know how he's going to teach you. Right? Because the other thing that I did appreciate was Baron Harkonnen. It's always going to be Harkonnen for me.
Right.
Was big and gross and physically
and oily.
large, but. Even though it was noticeable, we didn't focus on it the way we did in like the Lynch or in even the book.
Oh
right?
Right.
It's
Right.
like it kind of feels more like he happens to be big. Let's not do all these zoom ins of its big gross stomach, right? Because I guess we also left out all like the homosexual overtones as well. Because the two big things in like the Lynch and the book, where I'm just like, okay, this guy's obviously evil, and we're using physical obesity and homosexuality to reinforce that. Not a great look, right? So it was kind of there, but so I'm like, okay, good job with that. But,
definitely subtle, and I like the art direction a lot in that movie. I thought
there's not going to be a part 2.
Oh, there is. It's already in pre-production.
Oh, well, okay.
Well, I mean, money in box office doesn't matter anymore. I bet they're going to make all 3. I bet they'll make the whole trilogy, even if the second one is even less. Like, I think they'll make it just because of the level. Well, that might be the death of it, though. The level of the cast, if everyone will take a pay cut.
Well, I mean, they've killed off a bunch of people. I mean, you don't got to pay what's his face.
Right. Yeah, that's true. There's but there's new expensive characters coming.
Yeah, I didn't really see why Jason Momoa, aka Duncan Idaho, couldn't have died in the Keep. Why did we have that extra bit with him going to the? I'm like. We're just setting up. Okay, so like, how are the Sardaukar going to find him there and take him back? And anyway.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I guess we have Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Let's give him more of a part.
Yeah, he needs a show off scene. Yeah, he needs a heroic death.
If they continue, he's not going to be the fucking star of the series with the unkillable man Duncan Idaho for like 50,000 years or whatever. Yeah. Right. Anyway. Sorry, I took up way too much time on that.
No, that's
sorry.
Good stuff. Yeah, I know we have in the chat. We've got some big. Villeneuve Dune fans.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Last comment. Chapter House Dune.
Oh.
Sucks.
Oh yeah. So
the last
that's
book 6. Yeah, I'm like, I am struggling on this one.
Is it super like esoteric and like?
No, it's just like we've kind of like, I like all these different perspectives, but I'm kind of feel like nothing is happening, and now we have like so many groups. And so many secret plans. I'm just like, anchor me fucking somewhere, right? Like, it's interesting to like see people build up to stuff. Not when there's 9 different, I'm exaggerating here, but not when there's 9 different factions and they're all trying to do their own secret thing. And I'm like, I have no clue what fucking anyone is trying to accomplish. All we get are the steps. And like, okay, when it was 1, Bene Gesserit, okay, fine, I can deal with it.
But now,
and the characters aren't really that compelling now.
So we're not going to get a source book for the RPG that's going to be.
I don't know how you would. I have no idea how you would. Actually, kind of be interesting because there is a giant major antagonist. But anyway. So.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, are we still running? I just said we are trying to reconnect the chat.
So no one caught my giant Dune rant. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. I think we're still streaming. It just looks.
I still kind of see stuff up.
Yeah, it looks like the chat is. It just said it disconnected. I don't even know.
Technology.
Well, at least we selected a random winner.
We did.
That was
All right.
I
That's
was
the
worried
important
that my the whole thing was going to choke on that. So sorry, everyone. I'm not seeing the chat right now. I'll try to bring it up on the combined chat and see what's going on. It seems like Google might be having some trouble because the ads are not being served and all that good stuff. But anyhow,
After that 20-minute rant, sorry.
yeah. Yeah, but I think everything went out. It's just no one was able to say anything.
Respond.
So yeah, so
The best kind of communication I like. Just listen to me. Don't answer.
So we'll go over that. Yeah, we'll go over that later. Anything that got missed in the chat,
Cool.
we'll revisit. But let's start our headlines for this week.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, everything is mildly and slowly working today. Weird.
Oh, that's fine. Cool.
All right. So yeah, let me zoom in. I'm going to embiggen the
Embiggen.
the text here. All right. So we can actually scroll through. Excellent. Okay. So let's get started for this week. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the weekly.
I don't rant about Dune.
Yes.
Sorry, continue.
Yes. So for our patrons and people watching the live stream, we had a long Dune discussion, Dune film and Chapter House Dune before we started. But this week we're talking about Warcrow by Corvus Belli, Death in Space, Cortex Prime License Redo.
Nice.
And TSR 3 is selling leather-bound editions of 1E.
Well,
just found them lying around.
All right, we'll discuss it when we get there.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, very interesting. I think that the museum, they're definitely going to exploit the fact that they're
What's going to be left in the
museum.
museum? There's a fucking pillaging things in there. All right.
Well, let's start with an announcement that actually wasn't much of an announcement. It's just a tease, but a very exciting tease. So Corvus Belli, the makers of Infinity, a very sci-fi based skirmish combat game that has, very interesting mechanics like there's, hacking and a lot of very cool kind of invisibility rules and things like camouflage.
Kind of seemed like there was also a lot of like non-combat actions as well.
Yeah.
I got the sense that Infinity was, while it's a skirmish game, it's also like, okay, if you take a hacker or these other types of characters, there's a lot of things you can do other than blow up other people.
Right.
Okay.
And they also make shooting very dangerous because it's opposed rolls. And so you can be shooting at a weak unit, and if they get a lucky roll that beats your score, you get damage.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's really great dynamics in the rolls, and it's one of those it's a laser pointer kind of game, so you're really being exact with how you're hitting, how you're in cover and everything.
Lots of room for arguing. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, lots of room. Well, the laser pointer helps cut the arguments down. But they have announced Warcrow. So it's a new fantasy universe, and this will be an original IP for them that is going to be fantasy-based. And originally I was like, that's an odd name, but it's the kind of translation of the Latin of their name. So Corvus Belli means crow of war, basically.
Right.
So
is it all going to be Corvid units?
Maybe, yes. So that explains the name. I couldn't quite get what they were going for there, but that explains the name. And we'll see. They say it's going to be traditional, elves, dwarves, orcs type deal.
Right.
So we'll see how they handle that. I mean, this is a Spanish studio, so it's going to be a kind of a probably unique take. It's not British. It's not Northern European. So it's going to be a unique take on classic fantasy. And we've already seen a few studios, Spanish and Italian studios, for the tabletop, kind of do their take on things. So we will see. And they revealed this at Adepticon, and then online had a trailer that was basically just a logo reveal.
Okay.
So I was hoping for a little bit, because I'm curious if they take their style into fantasy, how that's going to look, because they have a very unique, very recognizable style for their miniatures. And we also got a timeline. So they explained a timeline of how things are going to roll out. Later this year, maybe towards the end of the year, we're going to get a Kickstarter for a dungeon crawl game in this world. Okay. So it's going to be, we'll see some examples of the miniatures, but it's not going to be the units that are going to be involved in the Wargame skirmish, with the setting maybe explained a little bit in the narrative of the dungeon crawl. And then we're going to get the actual war game next year sometime. Okay. So we will see. So mechanically, the dungeon crawler will be completely new rules and a new engine, different from anything they've developed before, because they already have kind of a crawler, like a tile crawler in the Infinity universe.
Right, okay.
There's a game that they released, which I'm forgetting the name of, but they have a few kind of permutations of what's going on in Infinity, and have done variations of the game. There's like a competitive sports arena game and things. Yeah. And they just released the tag raid, the deathmatch. So it's Infinity Deathmatch. Aristea is the kind of a futurist sports, sports type game on hexes, on hex space. So Warcrow will have a full background and setting, and part of a little bit of a sneak of what's going on is the unstoppable horror known as the fog that kind of permutates this whole setting. The Duke of Aurora and the High Priestess of Saleas is all we've heard so far. So we've got a few fantasy-sounding names.
Empire and Wood Elf. Okay.
Yeah, right. So we'll see. These will be two separate releases, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. And if it's new rules and everything, they did say though that it's going to use a kind of a standard symbolic dice system. That may be for the board game. That may just be
the dungeon crawl.
Right,
okay.
Right. Yeah, a set of symbol dice. And that may be not for the war. I hope it's not for the war game. I hope they do something similar and really satisfying as their D20 for Infinity. But all of their kind of sub games of Infinity use symbol dice and use kind of a custom dice. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And so that's a Kickstarter to look for later this year, and then the full game and full setting. Although I think they might run into that thing that Games Workshop did, where you've got two IPs. One's much more established, and then you've got to like balance releases for both of these and keep people happy that are investing in certain armies and certain factions and rolling things out. I mean, it seems like they're doing okay with that in Infinity. They seem to be cycling through and like, okay, now we finally got, you guys have been waiting for new units. Here's your new units. When they do releases, they're anticipating like what people are expecting, but now they're going to have two. If this is as popular, they're going to have two worlds. So what do you think about a fantasy game that's just going to be skirmish? It's not going to be like rank. It's not going to be fantasy armies. It's going to be fantasy individuals.
As someone who has no space to play, I'm fine with it. Right? As someone who is now more money than I'd like to count in the hole for both Turnip 28 and Sludge, which are skirmish war games, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm really curious how the reception's going to go. If it's gorgeous miniatures, and this is going to be plastic too, or Ceocast, I think, is what they're going to, that thermoplastic resin. I think they're going to move into that instead of the white metal, which is more compelling to me. I like the detail of the white miniatures, the weight of them, but assembly and stuff with a lot of the intricate pieces for Infinity. And I've dropped a couple Infinity miniatures, and when their little antenna get bent, and you're like,
you're done. Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. So we'll look forward to that, and I'm excited to see more details. I hope they have more information soon. I'm sure leading up to the Kickstarter they will. But the look is what I'm really curious about, what they're going to do, because their take on, because it's kind of like a weird anime. There's weird anime elements in Infinity, and I'd like to see how they're gonna handle fantasy. Anyhow, another game that popped up that's in pre-order now is Death in Space. This is a Stockholm Kartell release, so the Mork Borg guys, and it's an adventure and uncertain journeys into the darkness of space, where the void whispers to the unlucky and imbues travelers' bodies with strange powers. It's about you and your crew making a home of your spacecraft or station, your only sanctuary in a dangerous universe. Most of all, it is about surviving the abandoned frontier system where resources are scarce and competition is fierce. So a little bit, so this sounds like what I was thinking about doing with a simple, a rules-lite system, kind of doing a rogue trader. This sounds like a little bit rogue trader, Firefly kind of thing, like the family of the crew,
I guess so, yeah. I was thinking it kind of sounds more a bit like any number of the space horror things, right? Kind of like Alien, whatever.
And they're going to have it sounds like a void corruption mechanic. Yeah, so that's very 40K. It might not be connected to the the space travel, but the corruption of space will be affecting you.
Well, I think there kind of has to be. I got the sense that Death in Space is a space horror game. So I think there has to be some kind of. Well, I mean, you could possibly bring it more like hard sci-fi, where the, I guess, existential danger is just like isolation and kind of, possible like dehumanity just from not being able to interact with people. But that's kind of would be hard to play. I think, and not as appealing as this kind of chaosy, corrupting force.
Right.
So
so play it like Space Madness as opposed to at the corruption of the Eye of Chaos. So the designers are Christian Plugfors and Carl Niblius of Stockholm Kartell, and they talked a little bit about. So they wanted to make the game easy to use and also easy to hack, and really get across the gritty future of the early 80s sci-fi, as well as kind of classic westerns. So that's why I had the Firefly taste a little bit. So the core book, which of course it's Stockholm Kartell, so it's gorgeous. It's a beautifully produced book, contains lightweight rules, a system for quickly generating characters and spacecrafts, 60 plus different modules for your spacecraft, introduction to the Tenebris system, which is their setting, a system for repair, collecting spare parts, 20 cosmic mutations representing the physical manifestation of the void, a system for spacecraft confrontations and boarding, introductory scenario to jump into, and 40 plus tables and generators packed with setting flavor.
This sounds kind of, I'm a bit hesitant to say OSR-ish, but rather than kind of a more traditional setting book, this sounds to me, and this is not a negative, this sounds more like a toolkit. Right? Like here's a bunch of rules, and here's kind of a, sketched out, not necessarily sketched out, but here's a setting, but the focus is more on these rule chunks. Do with them as you will.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's true. So you can look forward to this, the full release, April 26th. It's going to retail for US $31.99. And when you pre-order before the release date, you get the PDF sent to you right away, so you can take a look digitally at it immediately. I like when they do that. That helps the wait. That slows down the wait. There's an official soundtrack for the game.
Oh, cool.
And there'll also be that will be available at all major streaming services. Oh, that's cool. So you can just stream it off of SoundCloud or whichever.
Bandcamp or something.
Yes, right. And so 90 minutes of atmospheric music, and also a character generator, the Death BBS, will let you generate characters for the game in no time. Nice. So I'll put a link to that pre-order and a little bit more description of the game, but it looked really fun. It really hit like some of the descriptions, like, oh yeah, that's what I thought you could do with like a rogue trader setting, but scaled back, kind of like, unidentifiably.
I wonder how you would, like, I still want to play that rogue trader game, and I still think adapting a PBTA game would be the way to go, or the Warlock, the space version of Warlock. Oh, yeah, right. But I wonder, with a rogue trader game, you play a crew of a rogue trader. And I guess someone could play as the rogue trader. Right. It kind of gives them a lot of power.
You're right. Yeah, they can kind of, yeah.
But also, more importantly, like rogue trader ships, it's not like, it's the dystopian version of like the Star Trek Enterprise, right? Like you may be the crew, there's untold numbers of probably like penal slaves operating your ship. Right. So I think that's a different kind of horror when you have all these other people you can kind of interact with, right? Like the loneliness and isolation gets minimized, right? Like there's going to be a big difference in social class, which could do that. But it's not like Alien, where it's the 8 of you on this giant craft, or Serenity, right? Or Firefly. It's like, no, it's you and 10,000 slaves running this ship.
Yeah, because you're not using thinking machines. It's all got to go through it's all got to go through meat. So yeah, you've got these people that have given themselves to your family, and now they're just wired into your machine as your navigation. And I really like with the rogue trader setting too, like the dangerous space travel. Like, we want to go from here to here, and it's going to mean money and opportunity, but who knows what's going to happen? And a lot of the novels have adapted that really well. Some of the Rogue Trader novels have really leaned into how horrifying that is, and the descriptions of like, entering the Immaterium is just horrifying, and like the things.
Gellerfield's on the fritz. Well, nope, we're not. No, we're not. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I have tentacles now. That's great. But yeah, I think that would be a nice horror element that is different from what we've seen. It's not like, aliens on your ship or, some kind of contaminate. It's not some contamination of an alien particle. This bizarre corruption that comes from within, and has a weird religious, kind of.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we shall see. But someone has tried again, a second attempt. So Cortex Prime takes a second pass at their community license, directly addressing the criticism that they got from their first attempt. So it's been 4 months since we last talked about that. Yeah, all those years ago or months ago. And so some big backlash from the RPG community. And you kind of directly addressed this and kind of your feelings, having done some writing on the project. And so the second version was published on March 29th, so just a few days ago. And so they announced the pair of licenses for fan-created works and commercial works, and kind of specified that fan-created works cannot make money. They cannot. They have to be offered for free.
Okay.
And the commercial work, I think the biggest changes were they didn't directly answer whether or not these could appear on other platforms other than the kind of fandom run. That's still up in the air was kind of the comment. Let me get to the quote. Talking about so the Cortex Prime Studio is kind of where things we presented. So until the Cortex Prime Studio comes out, our license didn't play very nicely with a lot of the distribution channels, like including Google Drive or even print shops. So now you can go ahead and distribute your content on something like itch.io. Oh, there we go. Okay, no, they did it. So you can, with the commercial license, distribute on itch.io or upload to a Google Drive and distribute it for free in that way. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, your local print shop, you can print out 20 copies of something and take them to a con and hand them out. So they're still saying, you can use these alternative platforms for no money.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the biggest change. So that their kind of manager of this was talking a bit about the changes. There was still some vagaries in this release, but they were. It seemed like so. If a creator believes that a mechanic or rule called mods, let's see, in their parlance, take advantage of a clause of non-commercial license. Yeah. So it is. Yeah, it is. You can develop stuff originally for free and own it as long as you don't sell it, I think is still basically their position.
Well, I'm going to have to go look at this because I think, and rightly so, people's big problem with the original license was basically making something for Cortex Prime under that license immediately meant you agreed to those, which I had done before that came out, right? But no, I made it for something else. But making something for Cortex Prime immediately meant you agreed to that, and immediately meant kind of they owned it, which was the big problem that a lot of people had, including myself.
Yeah. So it seems the only thing that they're carving out is, if you don't sell it, you own it. So you can develop things.
I guess. Again, this still kind of feels like I have no idea. I have no idea what the people involved in Cortex Prime want this to look like. This still feels like fandom and whoever owns that sending their lawyers and be like, nope, we got to lock this stuff down. Yeah. Where, I don't know, I'm just thinking about indie games, right? Where it's just like, oh, you made something with our stuff? You're selling it? Cool, right? And
gets more people playing it. Yeah,
people. I understand there's a difference between independent and company-owned stuff, but this is just kind of I'll have to go look. I'll reserve judgment and I'll have to go look. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, so her last quote was, we're not just throwing this license out and then dropping it and turning it into something else. I'm absolutely going to be paying attention to how people react in the immediate term, obviously, but also in the long term, how does it need to grow and change? Yeah, so it's still kind of being vague about how they want
to. Right? I have absolutely no ill will at all towards the people who run Cortex Prime, because I'm sure it's fandom or lawyers going, here's what it is.
Yeah.
And you want to keep your job?
Right.
You talk nice about it.
Yeah, figure out how to get people to put some sugar on this and see if they'll swallow it. Yeah. No, I think that's true. It's not a easy position, and I think because fandom is more did they mostly do video game kind of stuff?
I don't know, but there is a big online component of Cortex Prime now, because Fandom was D&D Beyond, right?
Oh, right.
So
right.
a lot of
That's
a lot of the wording for that original license read like software and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that might just be the problem. They're thinking about it differently than what
it actually is. Yeah,
fans are expecting, and maybe people developing for 5e or whatever for Wizards of the Coast may tolerate that a little bit more than people with a smaller company, smaller system.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things with Cortex Prime, I got to go pre-order the Tales of Xadia, the Dragon Prince book. I think it's like $39.99, and they're doing. I'm pretty sure they're doing the thing also where if you order the book. No, it went on sale the 29th, so it's not pre-order anymore. It's available. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they're doing the thing where, just like with Death in Space, if you order the PDF and hardback, you get the PDF immediately.
Right.
So again, like I bounced pretty hard off the Dragon Prince cartoon,
right?
But
so you can't wait to play in that world.
But like it's not necessarily me wanting to play in that world.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cortex Prime is an amazing system, and all the mods fit together to do different things. I want to see what mods they used to put it together, and I guarantee you could strip out the setting of Dragon Prince to play a more traditional RPG,
right.
or a more traditional fantasy RPG. So this is not me liking Dragon Prince. This is me going, like Cortex, like the company, you want to see what they did with it, because I could definitely use bits and pieces from it.
Right. So you don't have to play as the 3D CG like shader rendered characters. Okay, good. Yeah, that anime is a little rough looking.
Imagination. Imagine it however you want, Jeremy. Right? Yeah. Hey, your elves can have all 5 fingers instead of the 4.
Nice. All right, we're going to end with everyone's favorite segment, as the Gygax turns. So join us now for the next 30 minutes as we...
30 minutes, all right.
As we discuss the ongoing adventures of TSR3, also known as New TSR by some, and the wonderful things that they decide to do with what they think they own
right,
Dungeons and Dragons. All right, so TSR3 is now selling Rebound 1E core rulebooks.
Okay.
They're leatherbound. They kind of look like your doctoral dissertation or something those volumes with they have like the nice gold stamped lettering, and they look like academic volumes. And these are going for $650 each. And basically, it's what you would expect, like Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide. Okay. So there's 6 of them so far. And so Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manuals 1 and 2, Deities, Demigods.
Wait, correct me. Do you get these 6 books as a set?
No. Each is they specified $650 each. So there's 5. They pictured 5, and so you're in the thousands of dollars to own everything so far.
So there's 6 different books.
Yes, 6 different books that some of them are multiple volumes of the previous, of how they were previously presented. So they posted leather-bound images on their social media of the AD&D 1 ebooks, rebindings of old materials. And I guess we just had these printed pages laying around, and we thought we'd bind them up there for you.
Or they had the old books and the covers were falling off.
Yeah, maybe.
So they ground them off. And then just,
that's right. Yeah, and there's some typos already on the cover for some of them. And most noticeable. Yeah.
You know what? On second thought,
yes.
Not surprised.
Yes.
Not surprised.
Well, that makes them more valuable. They're rare collector's items, even more so. Mm-hmm. And they also, surprisingly, are using the wizard head classic TSR logo, which was in dispute legally, which I think Wizards of the Coast has already said, we own these. And so, their social media said, hey, look what just came in. Sorry we didn't have these at the TSR con. So Wizards of the Coast would probably have sent police to seize them. But so they're saying, so we said they rebound old material. So long story short, Wizards of the Coast said, okay, no problem. We have it in writing. So Wizards of the Coast said that similar to what people are saying, why are you rebinding these old materials? And so I guess they're saying we've got it in writing. Wizards of the Coast said we can do this if this is existing material, because it's going from the museum. So I guess if they're saying these are artifacts, we're just rebinding, these artifacts. They're not newly produced. We're not, I don't know. So as rebindings, these would be existing books simply being resold.
There you go.
Oh, they've got all the angles.
Yep.
However, the covers do have the the disputed logo, the wizard logo.
They just
they can't
admit
leave it
it.
alone.
Jesus.
Yeah, they can't leave it alone. No, the article points that out.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they just can't leave it alone. They're like, oh, thank you for the permission, and f you, we're gonna put
Yeah.
this logo on here. Yeah, they always gotta do something. So this is all coming from Justin Lanasa, of course, and the Dungeon Hobby Museum. So they're still, they're still Wizards of the Coast is still seeking judgment over all of this, and they want TSR to hand over all domains, take down all websites, and pay damages and costs, hand over all stock of things related to this trademark. So that's what they're seeking, and I guess this is kind of their version of a fire sale. They're just going to, before any judgment comes down, before any gavel
Also,
has fallen.
they got to make those legal fees
Yeah,
somehow,
right.
Help us pay our legal fees for being dumb fucks. Yeah.
That's a pile of rotten books over there. Let's rebind those and sell them for so the price $650 each is pretty brutal. But
I wonder if it's even real leather.
I don't know. It might be the faux. It looks pretty shiny, so it might be kind of a faux. I don't know. They're calling it Leatherbound. They do have red ribbon bookmarks as well, but they could have just taken them to one of those standard places that rebinds like academic papers and stuff. But it's lovely. So N-World did a really nice. One of the writers there did an entire timeline of TSR, like splitting out into TSR3 and everything, and then included this as the latest adventure. Right, okay. So maybe we'll go through some of those sometime, because it's great. They are very exhaustive, and plus with all the screen captures of the Twitter messages and stuff, just to give you full.
Jeez, hope they got paid to do that, because that sounds like work.
Yeah, it is. It goes on and on. I guess they were pulled into their website, or their company was pulled into a few discussions with the company and got kind of screwed over. But yeah, they apologize for not having these volumes at TSR Con. I don't think anybody would have bought a $650.
You know what? There are some people out there who would. Yeah. I'm sure people.
That's true. And if they thought there was some sort of legitimacy to this, and also because this is going to be the last thing they're going to actually be able to produce before all the legal bills start rolling in and the judgments against them. So fun. So yes, and the world of
Gygax keeps turning.
It does. So thank you for joining us this week
as the Gygax turns.
And I'm sure it's not over. And as the them complying to the kind of legal decisions should be some more entertainment as well. I'm sure that'll all be fun.
Anyway.
Yes. So that'll do it for this week.
Nice.
So where can people find you?
Twitter, as always. That's HiveMind, HYVEMYND, where I'm still trying to sculpt face masks on tiny little Perry miniature things while I wait for my sludge heads to show up. Anyway. So, how about you?
And I'm still doing my single panel gag cartoons, so abuse cartoons on both Twitch and YouTube and social media, and gocomics.com/domestic abuse if you want to see the whole archive of those cartoons. And then it happens Monday night, kind of Tuesday afternoon, Asia time, Monday night North American time. And if you'd like to support what we're doing, upturntable.com is the main website, and become a weekling at patreon.com/upturntable. And let us know what you'd like to see on the cast if you enjoy As the Gygax Turns. And
or if you want us to fucking stop.
What sorts of things? Well, they have to stop first. And just let us know what things you'd like to see us cover. And so... Also, that's it. Oh, yeah. So we'll be looking forward to some live streams of some Chronopia while the Kickstarter is running. We've got the miniatures painted, and we've got a 3x3 table staring right at us.
It's right there. You can't see it. It's right there.
So we will set that up with all kinds of fantasy correct terrain. I hope we've got enough. And we'll get some of that streaming so you can see what that looks like. And go check that out. They haven't quite hit their goal yet, but go check out the Chronopia Kickstarter. It's they've got some great miniatures, and I hope they
shoulder pads.
Yes, amazing shoulder pads, as appropriate to the setting. But we'll be back next week.
Yep. Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right.
Sweet.
Let's see if chat recovered. No, it still says it hasn't reconnected. Brutal.
Oh, my leg.
Oh no, everyone's claiming to be Paul Cooper in the chat. Oh no, we're gonna have to get some.
Think that one through.
We're gonna have to get some birth certificates or something. Yeah. Oh no. All right, I'll be right back for the chat. All right. There we go. So I think I've got some of the chat back. Everybody claiming to be Paul Cooper in the chat. Will the real Paul Cooper please stand up? He's become the new Spartacus, right? I am Spartacus. All right. Oh, man. So sorry about that. Yeah, I have no idea why the chat dropped off, so we probably lost some of the earlier comments. But yes, more as the Gygax turns. Yeah. Sorry, I lost all the first part of the comments. Yeah, Warcrow does sound like a metal band, Matt said. Yeah, so I don't know what. Obviously, they're trying to get around everything because I guess the Dungeon Museum has some legitimacy with fans, and if they are just reselling stuff that's laying around and not creating anything original, but they still are claiming to be producing Giant Lands or associated with Giant Lands and their version of Star Frontiers, maybe. So it's gonna be busy. I think that segment will continue, and it'll probably get a little bit more legal as judgments go on. Yeah, I'm really curious about Warcrow, how that's going to go. because I think it's going to be really hard for them to balance multiple lines. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and one is definitely going to be more popular, especially because Infinity is more established. But maybe it's not that different from how they've been balancing the kind of alternative play games and their dungeon crawler and Aristea and everything. They've been supporting that decently, so maybe it will be okay. We'll see. So let's see. Hopefully everyone is still there in the chat. Yeah, the combined chat is totally empty. So something was a little bit odd today with everything Google. The chat is there's just nothing coming up. Sorry guys, it looks like I lost the beginning messages. But hope everyone is doing okay. And so I'll do both a community post and a pinned comment on the 2,000 subscriber video for Paul Cooper. Thank you, Paul, for your message. Oh, I should go. Actually, I should go. I should see what Paul's comment was, just to kill time. Yeah, I'll go back into the video itself. It might that'd be funny if it was like an accidental comment. What's going on here? What am I supposed to? So I produced over the last weekend, produced a bunch of content for the Chronopia demo pack. So if you want to see assembly, painting, and all that good stuff for what they sent to stores and YouTubers to promote. And here's the rules. This is the rule booklet that was included with the and what's also going to be in the starter set. And so a PDF of this is available on the Kickstarter page for Chronopia. So if you guys want to take a look at the rules, and this isn't everything, this isn't the full rules, because it's just for the units included, which I think there's only one ranged unit, and there's no cavalry, so there's a lot of, and everything is 30 mil. So there's some rules that aren't going to apply, and some things that have been not included, because this is just simplified to play that actual set. So but we're going to get some games of that in. There's 2 different scenarios in this book, so we'll play both of those, and they're interesting. The mechanics are definitely different. They're unique to what we've seen before in other games. And and I'm curious. So I was surprised, a couple of the things in the rules that I forgot to ask in interviews when we were talking about the early versions of the rules, but there is facing. So there is a front and a rear. So it's probably good on your bases for you to indicate that, especially if you want, because a lot of the dynamic poses have kind of, characters, pivoting at the waist and things. So the rule is whichever face the chest of the character is, that's the front face. But a lot of that is going to be, kind of up for debate. So you may want to put marks on the kind of, exact half of the bases to clear up, or just to designate what you believe is the front face. So when you're moving things, because there is advantages. So, shields aren't effective if you're attacking from the rear face. There's no turning. You can't, when you're closing in, when you're doing the free close in movement, you can't change facing. Like, you can't be approaching something from the front, but when your close in movement, which you can move a few inches, similar to Age of Sigmar, you can't approach from a different side, things like that. And pre-measuring is open for you can measure at any time. But they said in tournament, probably the tournament rules will run so that you have to announce what you're measuring for when you're pre-measuring, just to make it clear kind of what's going on strategically, I guess, in your head. I'm trying to think if there are other things. So shooting happens in the activation phase, so all the shooting is going to start first. So I think that'll mean magic happens there as well. And Paul's awesome comment was, does this count as a contest entry? Yes, it does, Paul, and you are our winner. very good. Well, that was very funny. So people had some really nice comments though in the Twilight 2000. So Jim Jones said, I used to play Twilight 2000 back in the 80s. It was really fun. I currently own and am learning to play both Vaesen and Forbidden Lands. I'm curious how Free League will interpret the Twilight 2000 setting. RP Gorgira 23 said, Free League consistently knocks it out of the park. Great to see more coverage of them. Scurvy Ninja said, when I was a kid, my brother ran a homebrew Terminator RPG using Twilight 2000. It was awesome. That sounds awesome. Your brother deserves to win for that. That sounds really cool. All right. Nico Devout said, nice to see that the system gets more and more supplements. Paul Cooper said, does this count as a contest entry? And again, you are the winner, Paul. And then Raphael said, I didn't know this channel. Nice video. All right. Thanks, Raphael. I will do a pinned comment and let Paul know. And so just get in touch with us and we'll send you that link. So we'll until we hear from Paul, we'll keep notifying. We'll keep notifying everyone. But thanks everybody for who watched the video, and it's great that we hit 2,000 subscribers. That was a big goal for a while, and through all the kind of transition and kind of rebranding and everything, I appreciate people hanging in there with us. And so we'll be doing more. So we'll be doing more coverage of course, Twilight 2000, and then also as the Kickstarter for Warzone happens, Warzone Eternal. So that should be it'll be interesting to see. So I hope Chronopia does well enough that it's a good it sets up things for Warzone, or maybe people are holding onto their wallets waiting for, I don't know, because I think obviously you can tell from how many times Warzone was kind of resurrected, or that there may be a bigger audience for the sci-fi kind of setting of Mutant Chronicles. So we'll see, or I guess the diesel punk setting. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thanks so much for everyone's support. What do we got going on here? Yeah, the comments are still looking a little dodgy. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So sounds good. So what, there we go. Looks like the comments are starting to come back again. Yes, excellent. Yes. So Matt's fuming. So Chris is just pissing off our best patrons here. Yeah, but I think always, I think just basically that director. I don't think Chris has liked anything that Denis Villeneuve has done. So it's going to be hard to please. And that's an interesting experiment to get your like non-familiar with Dune partner to watch the film, because I think especially you're helped a lot going. You enjoyed a lot more going into it, knowing the story and knowing the previous versions of it, because it's a really interesting and unique take on telling that story, but with having zero familiarity to the story. I'm curious. I did hear that in movie reviews that people, that the place that it stopped was a little, anticlimactic. They didn't like where it abruptly stopped. Although I thought emotionally it worked pretty well, because you can't go much further than that point. Like you can't go to the Water of Life or any of that stuff yet. Because it just opens up too many like new parts of the story. So that was the place they had to stop if they're going to break the first book up into pieces, because things get rolling too much after that. But I got a chance. I didn't get to see it in IMAX, but I got to see it in the theater in Japan for the really short run. I think Eternals came in and just knocked it out of the theater, the IMAX theaters really quick. So it was only available IMAX for like a week or maybe two, and that was really frustrating because it was still kind of COVID times, and I was very hesitant about going to the theater and for it to be there for such a short time and then to be replaced by such a piece of garbage Marvel movie was really disappointing. But yes, I know. I can't. I can't even. Yeah, Sicario is amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing an enemy, and yeah, he's done some really amazing work. So I don't know. It's just an aesthetic thing. Like we had a long back and forth over Blade Runner 2049 and all that good stuff. So I think it's just an aesthetic and a yeah. There's just some basic. We'll have to ask Chris about their favorite. What are Chris's favorite movies, just so we get a better sense. But yeah, I really loved that take on Dune, and I know pre-production is going on for the second film, and I hope they make all three, because I think getting to the getting into Dune Heretic and telling enough of that story in a third film will be really good. Yeah, would be really interesting. And that's I think the only thing you could actually get on film. Much more beyond that, it's going to get really difficult to to make movies of the rest of the books. Nice. Yes, it's brutal. All right. So that should do it for this week. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's nothing in the comments. It all died. Yeah, I don't know why the comment engine just kind of disconnected there in the middle of the live stream. I'll check into that. But more stuff coming up, and I've got so I've got to get the next Mega Corporation profile out as well. It seems like people are those are going on to the Warzone Eternal Facebook group, and people are asking for more of those, and I've got to get back. So I'll explain in the Patreon. Maybe I'll do a Patreon message about why the audio fiction has slowed down. I'm just a little apprehensive about creating more of those, especially while the campaign, while someone holds the rights to that setting and a new campaign is coming out, a new Kickstarter campaign. So I'll specify what's going on with that and try to come up with another kind of patron only series to encourage and kind of get you guys some more exclusive content. But and Matt and I may be doing a first for the channel, a long distance unboxing. We may try to do something like that. So there's a little hint for some upcoming content. So we might get to that over this weekend. So that should be fun. That's the first time that has been attempted on this channel. So we'll see how it goes. And I should be able to edit it into some kind of good condition. But yeah, so that will do it for this week. So hope everyone has a good week, and we will be back again. And so yeah, keep an eye out over the weekend for some more content. I might go through the rules of the new, kind of compare and contrast original version Chronopia and the new demo rules. I think that might be an interesting live stream, is just to go through what changes have been made and what we hope to see in the advanced rules and the full rule set, like what we're looking for. And you can download that PDF. I'll put a link to that as well. So that might be a good new comparison, and also just maybe a video going through the Kickstarter as well. I hope I hope that they push it over the top. There's some really great stretch goals for Chronopia that we may not see, but hopefully, like a lot of companies, they plot these things out and then end up just kind of caving in and saying, yeah, we will be producing this. We didn't reach that funding, but it's still going to go into production. And luckily, because they're using CeoCast, it's not going to be, weeks. It's not going to be 10 to 15 weeks of tooling, to make these molds for these miniatures. So we'll see how it goes. And they're already open to STLs. So if all else fails, maybe we can get some STL releases. We'll see about that, because that was one of the early bird. Yeah, maybe this is the last day for the early bird of the Blood Hunter, the Devout Blood Hunter STL, free with the pledge. So take a look at that, and we'll be back again next week. Thanks everyone, and sorry chat has died. I'm sorry the chat died halfway through That was really frustrating. Nice. Faction logos. Yeah. Miguel said, yeah, faction logos. Nice. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, chat is starting to come up. Yeah, sorry. It said the chat server disconnected and then it went out, and just now seems to be coming back on. So hopefully you guys are seeing everything. Yeah, and just a few messages. The combined chat looks like it's choking as well. But everybody, take care. And we'll do this again next week, and keep an eye out for some live streams happening over the weekend. And Matt and I have to put our heads together and figure out how we can pull off an unboxing. And if this works well, you guys are in trouble, because I think we'll have a lot of things to unbox as things go on. All right. So everyone take care, and we will see you again next week. Goodbye.